Like I said in the last video, the worst thing that could happen is that you could get kicked out. The trainee that was found smoking and underage drinking honestly hadn't been a trainee for that long, so the company didn't really have much to lose. If it had been a more established trainee, maybe the story could have been different. There's a time that we got caught, but ended up turning into more of a reward than a punishment. For a little bit of context, our company had multiple dance teachers that taught different groups of trainees at different times. And there were 4 other girls in my group. The night before one Saturday morning class, we were told that it had gotten canceled. So the staff told us to use the time slot to practice on our own. But that same night, we had a really large group practice with one of the performance directors at our company, and I think most of us ended up getting home past midnight. Naturally, the next morning, we were really tired. So like I said in my last video, the training team didn't really wake up that early, especially on Saturdays. Since we thought they weren't watching, we got to practicing. We all took out mats and kind of huddled into the darker part of the dance studio that we were supposed to be practicing in. But eventually, all of us ended up laying down to stretch, and before we knew it, we had all fallen asleep. So we were all sleeping, and we were sleeping pretty peacefully, and I think you can guess what happens next. I don't even think we slept for that long. I think maybe we slept for 45 minutes before a staff member came into the studio. I guess they were watching us through the cameras and they realized that we had fallen asleep, so they sent someone to come confront us. Long story short, the staff member scolded us really harshly before saying if we weren't going to be there to practice, then we might as well go home. So they sent us home. I think they just wanted us to reflect and thought that yelling at us would be enough. So the 5 of us were packing up our things, getting ready to leave. And the staff member was watching us the entire time. But as soon as we left the practice building, we were celebrating. The oldest one in our class suggested that we go do something. So we ended up going to this jjampong place, which is kind of like a chain in Korea. They have all different kinds of flavored jjampong. And they also had corn cheese pizza, which we decided to order. So we were eating so well. After that, we weren't done. We went to get bingsu. Finally, we went home and we all slept. Like we all napped. I think it was the only rest day that we had gotten in like months at that point, just like unintentionally by breaking the rules. They never found out about us going to eat afterwards. I kind of feel bad now that I'm telling this story that we kind of like really weren't listening, but we were so exhausted. And at that point, I had been losing weight pretty well, so the food was just like a perfect cheat meal. If you're wondering, none of us got kicked out after that incident. There were arguably bigger incidents that had happened where trainees had gotten caught and they weren't kicked out. An example I can think of is 2 girls who had been really long-standing trainees who were attending school at that point. The schools had some COVID outbreaks and these girls were told to stay home and quarantine even though they hadn't tested positive yet. Instead of quarantining, they went to go to Lotte World. Thinking back on it now, there was kind of a lot of backstabbing / like throwing people under the bus, so you kind of had to be mindful about what business you were telling people. Essentially, they had invited a 3rd trainee to come along with them to Lotte World, but that trainee ended up not being able to go, and instead she went to yap to the training team and they got in a lot of trouble, but they didn't get kicked out. We kind of had a speculation about how they were secretly keeping track of like the rules that we broke. There was one month where I think 3 or 4 really talented trainees just got eliminated out of nowhere. But I heard that along with our vocals and dancing, behavioral assessments were also part of our monthly evaluations, and losing points in that category could potentially get us kicked